San Francisco, famous for its inclined streets and reclined attitude, but a dark shadow hangs over this city of free love. In the bay lurks the menacing, isolated island of Alcatraz.
6 months ago, while investigating the paranormal activity of the mob, we visited Alcatraz. The world's most infamous penitentiary closed its doors in the early 60s, but many paranormal investigators believe that some of its most notorious inmates have never left.
Our previous investigation presented us with a wide range of possible paranormal activity. It was a night that neither of us is likely to forget.
Whilst investigating Alcatraz, Chris had felt a wide range of sensations and emotions, noticeably in the hospital wing, but especially in the Birdman cell.
A lot of hate.
I had felt I was being watched and had heard noises that I couldn't explain. But it was the EVPs we picked up in D Block, cell 12, that really shook all of us.
There's a lot of people that don't believe in you at all, don't believe you exist, don't believe that you're here. How does that make you feel? I think you're a joke. Or am I just making you mad? Am I making you mad?
We were about to return to investigate whether the most infamous prison in the world is really as paranormally active as we had feared 6 months ago. We boarded a boat and left behind the security of the city skyline. Our destination? The Rock. This was the last boat to leave Alcatraz, picking up the remaining tourists from the island and dropping us off. It wasn't due to return until 6 o'clock the following morning. Another psychic and a parapsychologist would be joining us for the night. Apart from that, we were alone on the island, with only the seagulls for company. Or were we? Because what we were about to experience would make our previous investigation look like child's play.
Who are you?
Are we in any danger here?
Yes. Just feeling absolutely terrified.
What's up?
Something happened. Let's go.
Oh my God!
Think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts.
I feel it's getting madder and madder. It scares me. What's through here? I'll face you right back at you.
He's gonna swat you like a fly.
I'm getting a horrible, horrible feeling of deja vu.
No, tell me about it.
I don't want to do this, you know.
I'm a little freaked, but I tell you what, I hope we find something tonight. I definitely want to see a ghost. Are you up for that?
Yeah, that's why we're here. It's going to be the longest night of my life.
Yeah. Creepy, huh?
It's a living hell. Alcatraz was a living hell.
It's a very dramatic place. It's a high-security prison that can be seen by everybody, but they can't go there.
Alcatraz was reserved for the most unruly and violent federal inmates.
Al Capone, Machine Gun Kelly, Alvin Creepy Carpus, the Birdman. We had the worst inmate in the United States in here. No one came here from a court. They're all sent from another prison. We're having a problem.
If you're a real bad guy and a real tough convict and a real con, you wanted to do time at the Rock.
Al Capone himself said, "I've met my match in Alcatraz."
Originally a fort, Alcatraz became a federal penitentiary in the early 1930s. For the next 30 years, it was home to America's most notorious criminals.
The average stay of a prisoner in Alcatraz was about 5 years, but some, like Alvin Karpus, were there for 29 years.
Alcatraz was closed as a prison in 1963. No one went there. And in the late 1960s, a group of Native Americans claimed the Rock as their own. Joe Morris was one of the leaders of this group, and he believed there was paranormal activity on the island.
We'd taken the island on a peace treaty, a Sioux peace treaty. Any federal land is not being used after 7 years. The land reverts back to the original owners of the land. We lived in the main cell block over there for quite a while, 30 days, maybe 60 days, something like that. And then they start to spooking. I could hear the spirits of these people, you know, kind of yelling like if they're getting choked. We moved out of there and moved down into they call the yellow buildings.
The occupation lasted for 3 years.
There were a lot of visitors that came and visited the island, but they were unable to maintain control, and soon it was vandalized and there were fires. So in 1972, the Native Americans were escorted off the island, and the Golden Gate National Recreation Area actually established a park, and in 1973, visitors started traveling to Alcatraz to visit.
With such a rich history, what energy would remain on the rock? We were about to find out. The time was approaching 8 o'clock, and the prison walls were bathed in the warm golden glow of the rapidly descending sun. It was to be a short-lived comfort, because as the sun disappeared into the Pacific Ocean, darkness would be sure to follow. But we were not about to investigate Alcatraz alone. I had called in renowned parapsychologist Richard Sennett, who has studied the existence of paranormal activity on the island before.
I've read a lot about Alcatraz Island and the many ghost stories linked to it. Voices heard, music, sightings, figures, things of that nature. Some of the ghost stories go back well before it was a federal prison, actually. But I didn't really believe them till I spent a night here years ago. And yes, I had some things happen. I heard and felt things I couldn't explain. And I'm going to be very open-minded and hope that maybe something will happen tonight.
To complete our team, we were joined by clairsentient, clairaudient and clairvoyant Carla Barron. This was the first time she'd ever set foot on the island.
I've never been to Alcatraz, and the thing is that now is a really good time for me to go. I'm much more mature. I've been doing this for a little while with various ghost hunters across the country. This is a place that I think you have to build up to. I think you have to have a maturity about it. I'm scared, but I'm excited at the same time. I think something will happen.
Whilst Chris and Carla prepared themselves for the long night ahead, I headed towards D Block with Richard Sennett.
Richard, you've been involved in quite a number of investigations in Alcatraz. What kind of activity have you encountered?
All sorts of things happen here. Phantom voices, doors opening and closing, shadows, all sorts of bizarre leftover emotional and energy traces. I'd say Alcatraz, the big house here, is the most haunted house in America. This is D Block. It's the isolation cells. Some of the cells where people were just locked in by themselves till they cooled off. But these down here, these were the whole. This is a metal box. No bed, no furniture. Other psychics have gone to this unit, and they always point out number 14 at the end as the most haunted. We do know this for a fact. A prisoner was locked in there for misbehaving, and in the middle of the night he started screaming that there was someone in his cell, someone with glowing eyes. He screamed all night, and then finally, he stopped screaming. The next day, they found him strangled in his own cell. There were actually handprints around his throat. But my experience, you'd think that would be the one that would be the most haunted. And people say it's cold, and it is cold in there, but it was in this one, number 12.
That's where Chris had his experience, and we got some quite aggressive EVP.
Do something, say something, and make a noise that will prove that you haunt Alcatraz. Give me a sign.
Well,
we were doing this experiment out on the rock, and we're going to close me into this punishment cell in the hole. They said they'd lock the door only 10 minutes. There was somebody else in the room, somebody who didn't like me here, somebody who wanted to kill me. And I found myself backing up, clinging against the wall, whatever it is. And I felt as if it would kill me. When they opened that door, I was on my knees, down on the floor like this. And they said, "What happened?" And I said, "I don't want to talk about it." If Chris felt something here, I believe him. This is one negative hellhole. I will not be locked in this cell again. Even if you offered me £1 million, I wouldn't do it. What good is £1 million if you're dead?
Richard's stories were heightening my already anxious state, but they were only stories, weren't they? As darkness crept across the cold and desolate island, the events that were about to unfold would stretch my skepticism to breaking point.
Oh my God!
Something happened. Let's go.
I'm just feeling absolutely terrified.
We're starting to get some activity then, possibly.
Are we in any danger here?
Yes.
San Francisco was recently voted the world's favorite city, but amongst the award-winning restaurants, trendy shops, and hip bars, one landmark dominates like no other: the most infamous penitentiary in the world, Alcatraz. The Rock is rumored to be one of the most haunted locations in America. Along with parapsychologist Richard Sennett and psychic Carla Barron, our job was to spend the night investigating this alleged paranormal activity. Night had fallen, fireworks illuminated the sky above the bay. We were alone on Alcatraz. It was 10 p.m. Chris's first task was to set up an experiment in the quarantine cell in an attempt to communicate with any spirits present.
Okay, now explain to me what we're going to be doing. So you've got a Scrabble board.
What I would like to do is maybe if we ask a question with it, a simple question, just a couple words, okay? And see if it responds to it.
We arranged the letters as a question on the board. This would be left untouched by human hands for the duration of our investigation. So would any other energy feel the need to give us any answers? We started the night with an investigation of the hospital wing, beginning in the operating theatre.
What are you getting, Chris? I noticed you just now shivered.
I'm getting like my hand right now is just, it's basically just going on its own. And it's, I think what I'm feeling now is as if my body is on the table or as it's on the floor and it's not wanting to have done to it what's going to be done to it. As if a surgery, someone in a lot of pain, having some type of stitching or incisions done to them.
So you're picking up a past experience, what happened here.
I felt as if that there was a presence that floated up above here, right here, and then went upstairs, or went up into the ceiling.
Okay, let's check out the wards, because if anyone did die, odds were it would have taken place in one of these lockups.
I picked up a lot of trauma in here. This is where Al Capone actually was put for a little while. Put your hand on these bars.
Are you picking something up?
I'm just getting that it wasn't just hopelessness. It was almost trying to connect with sensing the outside world from in here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Very, very possible. In fact, many psychotics are incredibly psychic.
This person was a genius who stood here. Okay, a genius.
Carla, you just hit it on the head. Last time we were here, I stood here, I put my hands here. I felt Al Capone saying, I'm not going to be here very long. He was planning out who he was going to get involved to take control of this prison like he did in the previous prison.
I did not know this.
He was setting everything up. Little did he know it was not going to work out. That's exactly what I felt here last time we were here.
The final place we wanted to investigate in the hospital wing was the Birdman of Alcatraz's cell.
What do you get?
Waiting. Waiting.
Someone.
Awful sense of waiting and anxiety, anticipation, waiting.
Well, that is definitely part of the story of Robert Stroud. This was his cell. He was the infamous Birdman of Alcatraz.
Robert Stroud was better known as the Birdman from Alcatraz. He's probably the most famous inmate that Alcatraz ever housed.
He was psychotic, demented. He was just prone to murder.
He was not a mild-mannered man by any stretch of the imagination, and was actually quite a threat to all the individuals around him.
He is a monument to doing time in a disciplinary segregation unit because he was in prison for 55 years.
He started his criminal career as a pimp up in Alaska, and he ended up killing a man for not paying one of his girls the amount that she was asking. He was moved to Leavenworth prison, where he spent the next 30 years. During this time, his brother tried to come visit him, and that visit was denied. And he was so angry that he stabbed to death a guard in the mess hall in front of 1,100 other inmates. That's why he was put in solitary confinement. And it was there that he actually started becoming interested in birds.
His work on birds generated a lot of sympathy and support from well-meaning bird lovers and people outside the prison. He became a nuisance, and the Bureau of Prisons decided to get rid of his birds and him from Leavenworth, and so they sent him out here.
The entire 17 years he spent at Alcatraz, he never was involved with the caring or nurturing of birds. The person who made the film decided that the Birdman of Alcatraz just had a better ring to it than the Birdman of Leavenworth.
Carla and I headed for the isolation block, whilst Chris and Richard stayed behind in the Birdman cell.
Was he sick at all the last few years physically, like his
Yes, I believe
muscle,
he was.
bone, or blood structure?
I believe he had something wrong with his lungs.
This man did a lot of analytical thinking. A lot of thinking. Some would say that's what kept him sane, but actually that's what made him insane, was that he thought too much.
They said he had periods where he would explode in violent rage.
Manic depressive outbursts.
Yeah.
Okay, someone else was sitting here with him. Whoever came in here to talk to him, whether it was the warden, a doctor, they would communicate with him while he'd sit there. He would just turn his head this way, or he'd look out the window, or he'd look down, or he'd look back up, whoever was talking to him. He'd look at the person asking him the questions and wouldn't even respond. Did you like killing that person?
He'd smile?
Yeah, he'd smile. And he wouldn't make direct eye contact. Occasionally he would when it was something that really bothered him. Because, stay right there, he's looking down like this, and if he asked a question that he thought was a threat, he would be like...
A murderous stare?
He'd have a stare, and then he'd have a sinister smile. He liked the popularity. He liked making people be afraid of him. He enjoyed that.
Downstairs, Carla and I prepared to spend some time in the cells of D Block, considered to be the most haunted area of the prison.
It's midnight, and they've just shut me in the isolation room. It's horrible. Hello?
Are you still here? Are you still here with me?
Please don't say yes. Please don't say yes.
Hold it. Come and hold my hand. Show me that you're here. Hold my hand.
Carla?
Oh my God.
What?
I was turning the camera to my hand and I said, hold my hand, and I saw a face.
No, you didn't.
I saw a face and my hand, and it wasn't mine.
Please don't do that to me. Please don't do that to me.
Oh my God.
What's happened now?
There's like shadows going across the wall right now. Wait, let me see if I can get it. What are you feeling?
Just feeling absolutely terrified.
I'm going to move the camera around, and we're going to see if we can see you in here. Okay, now he's above my head. I'm going to put the camera above me. He's right above me. He's right above me.
All right, there's another spirit that did walk into the room, and this is not him. He's an Indian, native Indian. Oh my God, Richard, it's getting cold.
You're right, it's getting colder. Oh, right in here.
Came right up to me in my face.
Who is it?
Whoever's here, do not be afraid. Come forward. You are welcome. Give us a sign that you are here. Oh, geez. Someone on my left-hand side. Temperature is dropping.
Ask it who it is. Try to get a name. We can research.
Okay. There was someone on the left side that just came through that pillar.
Are you getting anything?
It's the same man that was here previously. He's right behind me now on my left shoulder.
The Indian fellow?
Oh my... I'm sorry. I just saw this shadow behind me and it was me. It scared me. Do you feel anything, Richard?
I feel there may well be something here.
It's right on my right side now.
What's that?
Something happened with the girls. Let's go. Something happened. Let's go. Didn't you guys hear the screams?
Yeah. What's that?
You didn't scream at all. You guys heard the screams, right?
I heard somebody screaming up there.
We heard you guys screaming like crazy. You heard that, right?
I heard something.
Did you hear it?
We were talking. We were talking. We didn't scream.
No, there was not talking. It was what? Just about 2 or 3 minutes ago.
It sounded... I might even have it on tape. It sounded like you guys were screaming and then running.
What's that?
Something happened with the girls. Let's go.
What's that?
Who or what was screaming? Rational thought would suggest it was the seagulls that circle the island. But even the camera crew seemed unconvinced by that explanation. Whatever it was shook all of us. But we weren't to know that this was just the beginning.
Leave. I will not leave. I feel it's getting madder and madder.
God, what was I thinking of?
You said you'd face me. Well, let's throw here. I'll face you right back at you.
months ago, we visited Alcatraz, searching for the spirits of the mob. Tonight, we had returned to spend the night conducting further investigations into the alleged paranormal activity on the island. Carla and I had spent time in cell D12.
What?
Meanwhile, in the Birdman cell, Chris and Richard Sennett had quite clearly heard women screaming from inside the building.
What's that?
Something happened with the girls. Let's go.
Together, we returned to the Birdman cell to try to deduce exactly what could have happened. It was now 1:30 a.m.
All right, you guys, this is where we were. Richard was sitting here, okay? And I was back over here, and we were conversing back and forth about, Robert Stroud, and then also about there were some ghosts that were coming in and out of this room. Now, I was standing right over here, and then all of a sudden I hear this screaming.
What's that?
Something happened with the girls. Let's go. First one scream, then a whole bunch of other screams.
Sure, it could be seagulls.
It didn't sound like seagulls. That's the thing. It sounded like your voice. It sounded like her voice.
We thought you guys were in trouble.
Sometimes spirits, ghosts will play tricks. Maybe the spirit here wanted us out of this room. We're starting to get some activity then, possibly.
Yep.
Okay, then we need to do this tarot reading. We need to communicate.
One of Carla's specific psychic gifts is tarot reading. This is done by the random shuffling of a deck of cards. Carla was going to use the cards to interpret any messages that may come through from the other side.
What's our first question?
Are there ghosts here?
The Fool. You already know they are. Already know that they are.
How many spirits are here?
How many of you are here? I don't think any more than 10.
Are we in any danger here?
It's talking about you and me. It's warning of an accident, so we have to be careful. They're saying it's confusing them because they don't know why we're here. We need to state our purpose.
We want proof that this place is haunted. Is there anyone of the spirits that want to come forward and wants to make himself known to all of us here tonight?
Yes.
It's getting really cold.
Let's ask if the spirit from cell block 12 is here, as he promised. Yes. And he's here. He's very sick, very demented. And if you try to join with him at all, be careful because he's going to leave residue with you and you might get physically ill. Okay? I'm warning you.
The tarot session was alarming. If Carla really was communicating with the spirit that lurked in D12, it didn't seem to want us around. Now more than any time in the night, I felt the need to get off this island. I went outside to collect my thoughts.
What's that? Where's the bird? God, you just feel like you've been watched all the time.
Meanwhile, Chris was preparing to confront the spirit in D12.
Looks like they got me going back into the cell, number 12. I'm going to cell block D. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. It's actually very late. I'm standing about 15 feet away from cell block 12, 13, and 14. And it is ice cold in here. This is where I was before. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I can't do it. There's no freaking way.
I don't like it. No one knows I'm out here. God, what was I thinking of? Shit. I can't get in. I can't. Oh, man. Lock me out.
I couldn't get in, and Chris couldn't get out of his part of the investigation. With safety in numbers, he returned to D block with Carla and Richard.
Oh, God, it's cold in here.
It's ice cold.
Jeez. Freezing.
Oh, man.
That's where our bad boy is.
All right, I'm going to set up my
He's not happy.
laptop, and I'm going to have him listen to himself to see how much of a badass he is. He wanted to face me. Now we're going to see if he faces me. You said you'd face me. Well, let's throw your I'll face you right back at you. There's a lot of people that don't believe in you at all, don't believe you exist, don't believe that you're here. How does that make you feel? I think you're a joke.
You gonna play his thing?
Oh, yeah, over and over again until he gets sick of it.
You're... Okay.
That's your voice, big guy. Last time I was here, you said you were going to face me. Well, I'm waiting.
Be careful.
I feel it's getting madder and madder.
Be careful. You're pissing him off right now. He's gonna swat you like a fly.
Oh my God, I'm just feeling dizzy.
I'd be very, very careful in doing stuff like that. It's brave and all, but sometimes there are forces that even you don't know about.
Leave. Leave.
I will not leave.
Leave.
Because you do not belong here, and you should not stay here. You need to move on.
Chris, we gotta get out of here. Chris, we have to go.
It's getting a lot colder in here.
We have to go.
You can go. You can walk out. You can stand right
I
outside
don't
the
want to
cell.
leave you here by yourself. We have to go. Come on.
Whoever you are a weak soul because you do not know how to move on to the other side.
Carla felt anxious and left the cell. Chris stayed a bit longer, but the spirit didn't seem ready to come through. Would an unprotected seance in the hospital wing finally call any spirits forward?
Come on!
He scares me.
Where are you?
Who are you? Come forward. Holy shit!
We had revisited San Francisco to investigate the paranormal activity on the hostile and desolate island of Alcatraz. Once a home to some of the most infamous and violent criminals of the 20th century, it is now rumoured to harbour forces much darker, those of the ghosts of the long-dead prisoners. We were reaching the final stage of what had already been a terrifying night. I hoped that a séance would give me definite proof that there were ghosts and spirits at Alcatraz. But would they be so keen to meet us? Reinforcements arrived at the dock in the form of the Santa Clara Ghost Hunters, here to take part in the séance. The time was 3 a.m.
Seances are sittings of people formed in a circle to communicate with the dead.
Doing it somewhere like Alcatraz, does that make it more dangerous for us?
Yes, beyond a doubt, especially after what we've experienced tonight. Now, we, of course, are outside the circle, which means we're highly vulnerable. Everyone in this room is in trouble.
I'm going to do something a little bit Not exactly conventional. I want to make an open circle so that we invite spirit in. Now, this is dangerous sometimes because once we take spirit in to the circle, we have to be able to relinquish it before leaving. No one break the circle for whatever reason. Whether we're holding hands or not, it is still a circle, it is still sacred. Now we begin. Everyone is equal. All of us are the same. Let's deal with the bad guy. Show us you're here. What is your name? Show us. My God. Look at the smoke. It's rising in between us. Ask him his name.
Tell us your name.
Show us you're here. You okay?
Yeah, something's trying to come through.
You leave him alone.
It seemed that Chris was channeling a spirit. Could it be the same malevolent force from D12?
What? What do you want? Speak. Don't break the circle.
I am here because I have to be here. I have no place to go. Like this.
He was kind enough to let you use his body. You be kind back.
He scares me.
One of the group had noticed a sharp temperature drop on the side where the participants were experiencing extreme cold. According to the thermonuclear scanner, that side of the room was 10 degrees colder than the other, just a few feet away.
Who else? Palms up. Don't break the circle. You okay?
I feel like I gotta vomit.
Okay, bend over and get some air.
I'm so dizzy. Oh, man.
You're making my friend sick. Show yourself.
You all right?
Do something. Make it happen. Where are you?
Tell me what's going through your head right now.
I don't have control over my muscles.
Why?
I think he does.
You can push him out.
Leave me now.
Say it louder.
Leave me now.
Scream it.
Leave me now.
Scream it louder.
Leave me now.
You won't be shaking anymore. Protect yourselves. Right now we have to seal this circle. Okay, we're done. Let's seal this circle. Breathe.
Carla was concerned that the energy in the room was affecting too many people and brought the seance to a close. I was glad that she did. I was starting to feel edgy.
Well, basically, my body just got all tensed up. I just didn't know how I felt. I was surprised to have something like that happen for my first time.
Something did occur up there. I did not notice any of our meters going off. That's not always an indication, but I think the temperature drop was very significant.
Really, it was just disturbing. It was just, I don't know how to describe it, but frightening, I guess. That's the only way, the only way to say what it was.
It was a qualified success. We didn't have any manifestations save for a perceivable drop in temperature. We had several people communicate or attempt to be taken over. So the amount of material we've collected tonight is pretty significant that something's going on here on the rock.
Dawn was breaking, but there were 2 more things Chris and I still had to do. I had to brave the hospital wing one more time. Alone.
I've got to go and check the experiment on my own. Which means I've got to be up here in this hospital corridor all by myself. And I hate this corridor. Because last time I came up, in January, I heard some weird noises. What's that? Huh? What's that noise? I don't like it. Huh? Shit. But it's the experiment in isolation. And nothing has moved. Okay. I've got to get I'm sure I heard him.
Meanwhile, Chris was desperate to have one more go at confronting his nemesis in D12.
All right, I'm going back to cell block D at 12 after the seance here. That is scary. You hear that, Dora? And I've got my tape player here that I'm going to use for EVPs. See if I can get any electronic voice phenomena. Who are you? Come forward. Come forward. It's getting very cold in here. Very cold and darker in there. My body is shivering with energy. I know you can hear me. So speak now and tell me what you want to tell me. Come on, chicken ghost, come on. Appear now. Appear. Are you afraid of me? I got shoved.
As Chris was leaving, we picked up a startling EVP. Only Chris and the camera woman were present. So whose male voice is this?
Let me out of there.
If D12 and indeed Alcatraz were haunted, then it seemed the spirits were reluctant to go to the other side. This was their place, and they wanted us to leave. I was happy to comply with their demands. At 6 a.m, the boat came for us, and we left the island in the relative security of the ascending light. We had survived our night on Alcatraz. Chris had felt the presence of spirits and energies, but perhaps we'd only touched the surface of any paranormal activity on the island. One thing's for sure, I wasn't going to test the patience of anything that may lurk amongst the shadows of Alcatraz.